Welcome to Travel Market Life, your companion for industry insights and professional business development. Travel Market Life. Join us by webcast, video or podcast.
Welcome to the sessions that were recorded live at the IHS London 2023. This session is Hotel Revenue and eCommerce. How is a hotel sales model changing, and where can hotels maximise revenue and reduce costs? We speak to Ali Northfield of Revenue by Design, Teresa Kingston from Rockliffe Hotel, David Ohandjanian of Uphotel, Susanne Williams from Journey Hospitality, and Daniel Simmons from HotelREZ.
Travel Market Life.
Welcome ever so much to the social business space. This is the Travel Market Life podcast takeover. I'm very fortunate enough to have some wonderful experts who have joined me today to go through some really critical questions and challenges that we're experiencing within the hotel industry. Now, I specialize within digitalization and technology, but also within innovation. How do we change processes, concepts, ideas, and cultures? How do we look at how we're actually utilizing technology in a way that's going to benefit our staff as well as our guests and drive that commercial performance? So in the first session, Hotel Revenue and eCommerce, we're going to look at how the hotel sales model is changing. Where can hotels maximize revenue and reduce costs? Okay, so we're going to hear from our experts. We're going to start that conversation going, and our experts are going to come and visit you at the tables. To start off with, we have Ali Northfield from Revenue by Design and also the Global Revenue Forum. Now, Ali, thank you ever so much for joining us today. Now, you have been involved within revenue within hotels for quite some time, and you actually run the Global Revenue Forum. Could you give us a bit of background on what is the Global Revenue Forum?
So Global Revenue Forum is a conference that happens in January 2024, and it happens in London, in Milan, and Stockholm, all on the same day. And we basically share best practice across 3 different cities. And this year we're also adding in Lisbon and the university in the hotel school in Lucerne. So for those of you that really want to understand how revenue strategies are going to change and commercial strategies are going to change over the next year, looking ahead, then I highly recommend, if you can, to pop in. So do that. Did you ask me a question as well?
That was the question. Okay. So you did a very good job at answering that. Thank you. But the next question is, the changes particularly that you're seeing within how hoteliers are addressing revenue management today.
Yeah, so I think there's been a huge requirement to change the role over the last 12 months. I think there's this constant feeling that we're addressing challenges every other week. There's this need to be what I call resilient. So it's basically building resilience within the hotel operation. That means you need to know about every single market segment, every channel that's booking, every geography that's booking, and understanding what the impact of any macroeconomical or macro-geographical impact will have on your hotel. So if you have bookings from, let's say, Russia over the last year, then clearly we know exactly what happened when Russians were not allowed to travel. So that segment, that geographical segment, has to be basically replaced with someone else. So you've got to be always on the ball. Where are people coming from? What segments are typically booking, and also which segments are the most profitable for you at any one particular time.
Thank you. Now, I mean, we saw during the pandemic, a shift to consumers really start to look at the direct channel. How much is that still powering through as the key consideration for hoteliers, or is there a need to have a bit more of a balanced mix?
I think the direct versus indirect question is always, it's always going to sort of polarize people. But fundamentally, that shift towards direct bookings that happened over COVID, that's disappeared from what I can see. I'm not really seeing that same sense of people really wanting to have that direct contact with the hotel anymore. They've just gone back to that convenience of booking. But that said, I think, yes, focus on the direct channel, but yes, be very, very clear on how much it's costing, because that cost per acquisition of each guest is really important, and I'm sure Susanne will talk a lot more about that. But from our point of view, when the hotels that we manage, if we've got a hotel that's sitting at 70% average occupancy all year round, there is room for improvement, and that improvement in occupancy is likely likely to come from a third party rather than direct.
Now, I mean, we've worked from spreadsheets for many, many years, beautiful as they are, you know, the collaborative Google documents now, but there are systems now in place. How prevalent is software when it comes to revenue management?
Systems nowadays are totally affordable. They're interfaceable with your property management system. It's a really easy fix. And you have to remember that humans cannot manage the multiple strategies that you need to be looking at any one point in time. Like London being a very dynamic market is a bit of a kind of like obvious. You need a revenue management system. But even in a smaller hotel, in a resort or the countryside, will benefit from having that level of data and that data visibility. What tends to happen is the revenue manager manages the Excel spreadsheet and the information goes no further. It just stays within the fold of the revenue manager if you're not careful, and certainly the detailed data. You need everybody to have visibility across the entire operation of the revenue function so we can all talk about how best to actually optimize that revenue that's potentially coming in, every single profit center, every channel, every geography. And a revenue management system is something that's going to give you that really easily. So I would advocate, yes, get one if you can.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed. Now we have hotelier in a room. We have Teresa Kingston, the commercial director at Rockliffe Hotel. Now, you know, running a hotel, particularly with so many different business units to it, must be quite a challenge in itself. But where are some of the growth opportunities that you've seen for your hotel in the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think really since we've come out of COVID, for us the key growth opportunity has really been through developing our tech. So we highly invested in our website, and now our website is responsible for 60% of our bookings. We have a very high conversion rate, engagement rate, and by moving the Res team to be free, to not actually take reservations, it then allows them that additional time to upsell, spend more time with the guest, and really, really create that guest experience. I mean, another opportunity as well is around flexibility. So COVID pretty much taught us to be flexible, and we have seen that after COVID and still to these days, customers still want to see some kind of flexibility in that. So, you know, we have allowed ourselves to be a little bit more flexible and lenient, especially on prepayable rates, which has worked out, you know, quite well for us as well.
I mean, that's quite a different sort of approach to that. So, I mean, you're having to work in working across the different departments within sales, marketing, and revenue to try sort of bring that all together. And is there sort of like a retraining or a different way that you've got to take a look at how you handle your day-to-day strategies?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of a revenue strategy, I think Ali alluded to this, you know, by even just having a good rate strategy on an Excel document is not really going to be the best solution for you. You know, as a revenue manager who's dealing with rate strategies on a daily basis, look, we all love a good spreadsheet. I do as well. But we have to really look forwards. We have to really look at the data. We have to have that connection between the guest, understand what that booking journey looks like, put ourselves in the guest shoes, really understand the marketing. And from a strategy perspective, look, you know, at psychological pricing. You know, if you're going to offer a discount to the guests, let them know that that is a discount, because no matter what hotel chain, independent hotel, no matter where you work, everybody wants to see some kind of discount as well. And the other thing as well in terms of revenue strategies is historic data. No more, we cannot look at historic data anymore. There was COVID, 2019 was completely different for hotels. You know, from a revenue strategy perspective, we have to really look forward. We have to look at future demands, and, you know, we have to predict the future and at some point the lottery numbers, which would be even better.
Wow. I mean, that is a lot to handle, a lot to be considering. I mean, are there days you actually get to breathe?
Just occasionally, and open a glass of wine.
I mean, for you, who would you say are some of the key partners, you know, vendors, suppliers that really make your day and help your job be much easier?
For us, it's the relationship that we've pretty much got with our digital marketing agency, because without them, we can't drive direct traffic to the website, we can't make the telephone ring, you know, that is key. And also our web dev, you know, they are literally on the end of the phone, because that is equally as important, because 60% of your bookings are coming via web. All it takes is for your web to go down, and then that's it. You're really in a bit of a struggle.
Teresa, thank you very much indeed. Now, I'm sure some of you have got those questions. You might have experienced those problems at the same time. We want to hear some of that because what we want to do at the end of this session is actually consolidate a lot of the thinking that's in the room. Where are you today? What are the questions you have? What are the challenges? Maybe what are the solutions you've put in place that are really driving your strategy forward that can help every single other hotelier in this room really prosper? Because I don't think it's going to be particularly easy over the next couple of years, do you? I mean, with inflation and the cost of living, we want to continue to be able to perform, but also at a rate where you've got the right level of talent within the organisation. Now, this afternoon, we are going to be looking at recruit, reward, and retain. So looking at the element of culture and what that means with people. And so make sure you come back for that conversation. Moving over now, Teresa mentioned the digital and the marketing and direct. David Ohandjanian, the CEO of Uphotel. Now, you look after a lot of the digital marketing aspects for hoteliers. How are you seeing them address their direct channel differently today?
Well, first of all, thank you for the great caveat there. Perfect. So what we've seen is a lot of hotels for time have for years said, we want more direct business. And maybe that sat with the marketing department and it was a mantra that went around, but actually what we've seen more recently, especially since COVID, is action. So what I mean by that is the combination, just like Teresa said, of the revenue management being involved in that. So it wasn't just marketing saying best rates direct on the site, we want more direct. It's the plan from the GM, the owners, the marketing department, the revenue, all coming together and saying, well, how do we actually go and do that? And put a plan in place, and not just have a plan, but actually fulfill that plan. So the key to that would really be the book direct messaging. So you see on many hotel websites, best rates direct, and it ends there. And you could possibly click through and see that we offer the same rates, but that's not enough. Because it's a hoop jump to actually book for many people's websites. It's hard. Your details aren't remembered. The systems on OTAs are in place that they can just check out on one click. So we still have a chance, though. We can't just give up and say, oh, well, that's it. There's many hotels that do actually benefit from a lot of direct bookings. How do they do that? Well, they make their offering compelling to people. So give them something extra. Make it the best place, because there's still a fact that 60% of people come from an OTA, check the direct website before they make the booking on the OTA. How do we say to them, actually, no, don't go back there. We can't capture everyone. But this is the best place. So you can get a free room upgrade if available, because we value you. You get an F&B voucher, get them to spend in your F&B. We give you access to an exclusive lounge. All of these things, they don't have to just be money or rates. They can be benefits. And let's be fair, everyone loves a deal. So if we've got that in place, we've got a significant strategy. We've got the right offers that may be exclusive to that site. Then when we bring people to the site, or they come indirectly, we've got a chance of capturing them. So then our job is to say, well, how do we show it to them? How do we make them aware that we've not just got a price on there and say this is best. If they go back to booking.com, there's all these flashing buttons, menus, cross-throughs, and we're trying to be all classic and say, oh, well, our site's beautiful. We're not going to hammer them with all these things. We don't have to be as aggressive, but we also need to be very clear that this is the place to book. We value you. We want you as a customer. We're going to look after you, and there's no other place that you'll get a better deal than this. And if you put all that in place, brilliant. You've got a customer, and you've got them direct.
And I say, it's all well and good having them on your website, but how do you get them to your website in the first place? I mean, how important is the broader role of digital marketing and the investment behind it?
Well, this is also an interesting question, because some hotels that we talk to, they'll say, oh, well, we've tried hotel ads, Google hotel ads, this is a new thing, or we've tried doing PPC marketing, we've really got nowhere, or we haven't really got the results we expected. So maybe they throw their hands up and give up. But what I would say is digital marketing is like turning on a tap. So it sends people, and it's immediate, right? But is most hotels' goals to get people to their website? I mean, it'd be easy for us if it was, but it's not. It's the right type of people. So let's take a step back up. And then when we look, there's hundreds of taps. So the choice is there. Which taps do we turn on? And then we send the people. And at the other end, we have to have some receptacle to capture that. So On the other end, we have to have the right receptacle for those people. So if we bring that back to digital marketing is that flow, but the whole strategy is actually figuring out who do we send, who are the personas, who are the people we're trying to target. Let's turn those taps on. And then the other end, the cup, is like the website, the landing page, the right USPs, the right offers for those people. And if we look at the broader strategy, the digital marketing is a channel, but actually thinking of it as a whole strategy, we think about who we want to target, we send the right people, which is the easy part really, and then we make sure that they see what they want. Therefore, they actually go and make that decision and hopefully book. Again, the right offers, the right best direct messaging, and making the most of the people that we're paying for to come to the site.
Wonderful, and I want David to go around in a moment to really talk to you about all the different taps that you've got switched on. We're going to be talking now to Susanne Williams, the Commercial Director of Journey Consultancy, or Journey Hospitality, as I try to make my way round this stand. They've definitely put plenty of obstacles in my way. Now, how are hotels now more capable of optimizing profit directly from the customer?
So I agree with Teresa, Ali and David, just in terms of how you turn those taps on, how you manage your strategy and all the silos and bring them together, and always bringing it back to price. And one of the things I love about hospitality is we know how to make something fairly straightforward, really complex to book. Now what we do is we've taken all those taps, fed them all through that journey, and we're looking at getting the bang for our buck out of our guests, which is what we all want. We want the guests to come through the website, and we want to make sure we maximise the profit. Now, in order to do that, we're talking about rooms, we're driving websites through booking engines, and we're then checking them into the hotel. But there is a point at which the guest wants to book a spa, a golf tea time, a restaurant, which up until now you've not been able to do. So the way to really maximise your profitability is to look at your total revenue for your guest.
I mean, it's fascinating because we keep talking about this war with the OTAs, you know. Is there one? I mean, it doesn't sound like we need to be at war at all. I mean, how do you sort of like think about, you know, the idea of how you present what you have offering on the direct and really make that a useful experience?
So I think, to Ali's point about the direct versus indirect challenge, that definitely exists. And, you know, we have a hotel that has 88% direct business. And the way they do that is by offering that full experience online. And I know Daniel's going to talk more about distribution. If you want to increase your occupancy, make sure you've got multiple distribution channels. But when you want to really amplify your direct and give that guest the best experience, make sure that your offers and products are available to book online.
Yesterday we were having a conversation about the utilisation of artificial intelligence. Now that really plays in within revenue strategies, and could you summarise some of the key points that you threw forward yesterday?
Oh, if I can't remember that far back. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's about data, I think first and foremost, and Harry mentioned from Mimi Digital yesterday just about where that data sits. And in my view, when you have a good data structure, it sits naturally with revenue, right? It sits naturally with digital marketing. Use that data, work your price, and then figure out how you're going to understand and action it through your website experience through into your booking engine. And I think that's a good place to start.
Excellent. So definitely look at the different systems in place and how they're utilising artificial intelligence right now. Now, we're looking towards distribution channels. And we've got our specialist here, Daniel Simmons, the CCO of HotelREZ. I mean, there's so much to it.
There is. I mean, it's so complicated now. And for independent properties and groups, it is just a minefield. One thing we do at HotelREZ is we obviously make sure that when bookings are made, it's at the right price. And it's not just the room. I think, as you've all mentioned, you want to look at everything you've got on sale at your property, whether it's spa, golf, anything you can make money on. And you want to do a retail product on your booking engine. And that's so important. I think if you capture the booking at the time of sale, you're going to definitely get more revenue, potential revenue. Also look at your meta. You know, what are you doing with Google? They've got some fantastic products. Tripadvisor, Kayak. I mean, meta is so confusing and everyone thinks it's expensive. But there are cheap ways to work with that meta market. Another thing is the GDS, and I know we're talking about more direct bookings, but the global distribution system is getting bigger and bigger. A lot of hotels kind of dismiss it and think that it's quite expensive business, but actually it's fantastic for corporate. I think the average value of a booking since 2019 has gone up by 20%. The corporate market is stronger than ever. More and more corporate people are booking. You know, make sure that you are working with the big TMCs and consortias. And also high-end leisure. If you're looking for American business, Canadian business, I mean, there's so many home workers with like Virtuoso and those big like players. So it's so good for leisure as well.
Now, HotelREZ also has World Rainbow Hotels and Best Loved. You've just started working with the newly launched brand Elegant Hotel Collection.
Yeah.
We've seen eco hotels, design hotels.
Yeah.
There's greater diversification in the soft brands today. How important is it for hoteliers to be looking at this route to market?
I think it's really important. I think the brands are driven by the people that are booking the hotel rooms. Everyone wants something more exciting, a bit more adventurous, a bit more lifestyle. I think the brands that are out there, sometimes they can be seen as a bit old-fashioned, but they're new brands that are just fantastic. I mean, it's great for buying power. Commissions with OTAs can be reduced, credit card commissions. They have GSA networks, so you can like tap into all their resources worldwide. You know, there's so many advantages, and it kind of gives you the competitive edge against other properties. And I think brands aren't what they used to be. I think they're great for extra exposure. They're great to get your product out there and more business. So yeah, I mean, as you've just mentioned, we've just launched a brand. So yeah, I'm a strong believer in a brand.
Thank you very much indeed. So we're going to be coming to the audience now. I'd love to hear some of your questions, any of the thoughts that you want to throw to our experts. Now, on Travel Market Life, we have a series called Hotelier's Voice. Now, we actually speak to senior leaders about some of the digitalization strategies and some of the innovations that they've put in place, and you'll be able to hear some of these extended interviews there. We also have another series called Hotel Partner, where we hear from vendors about the solutions they've got to problems and their customers about the impacts that these solutions are having. So you can actually, therefore, discover a bit more of an extended discussion into that. But I'd love to be able to hear, is there anybody in the room that has a question for any of our 5 experts or any contributions that they'd like to make to this discussion? Hello, if you could give me your name and where you're from and your question, please.
Hi, my name's Amy. I work for Gretna Green Limited, so we have a few different hotels. What I wanted to ask is, there's obviously the challenge when you're trying to get direct bookings and you're using PPC and systems, that you're then having to compete also with the OTAs who are also trying to sell your hotel. So do you have any kind of tips or suggestions to how to kind of manage that battle? Because you end up making your direct booking actually worth what will cost you more money actually than just going with the OTA.
Thank you very much, Amy. So if I come over to our direct digital marketing expert here, over to David, if you could give us an answer.
Well, I'd say that what you're looking at in terms of protecting your brand is low-hanging fruit. So if OTAs are buying your brand, then they're actually making money on that 20% that they're making, probably charging on. So it must be cheaper for you to actually purchase your own brand name, and you should protect it. You're able to get reservations probably about 1 or 2% cost per acquisition, so you're not really driving anything up. In fact, you're driving them out and making 18% more profitability. So as a bare minimum, protect your brand and associated terms. However, when you're talking about much more broad or broader match terms, sometimes you can use OTAs as almost like an index and a directory to get people to your site. So again, what we've talked about is there's not a war, it's just getting that mix. But then it's very tempting for a lot of hotels to just go, well, I will never be able to compete with an OTA on this. But actually brand terms and related terms and very specific terms, targeted terms, are worth buying. And it's all about cost per acquisition, because if you're able to make a booking for less than you're paying a commission, then it's worth it to you because you have a lifetime value as well. And it will always work out better. So don't throw your hands up. Work with someone that really knows what they're doing with a strategy, and you'll do well out of it.
And Susanne also has a contribution to this question. Susanne, what would you say that you can add there?
Right, I think first things first, I love the fact that we're thinking about OTAs as the competitors. So when you're writing that copy for your ads, you're saying base rate guaranteed, and that's going into the copy. You're not competing with a little hotel down the road that's got a hotel in a river. You're competing with OTAs, so that's great. I think it's about price and making sure that you've got rate parity, and that is actually really difficult to do with OTAs. Now, there's a couple of things. There's a couple of platforms, actually, that when you work with them, like TripTease, when you're on meta search with TripTease, what they will do when an OTA is undercutting your price and showing on meta that they're cheaper, when that guest goes to your website, TripTease will pull that rate from the OTAs and match it, even if it's not the same price in your booking engine. So it's tactics like that that really make you stand out and will drive that direct channel.
Thank you. And now, Teresa, at the front of it all, how are you handling this at Rockliffe?
I mean, it's a very, very difficult challenge, to be honest with you. But, one of the key things would be just cut off your entry-level room rates on the OTAs. It's a bit naughty, but you will always undercut. So if you don't offer entry-level room rates, you will always undercut the OTAs. Secondly, we work with another third party. So whenever our room rate undercuts an OTA through the booking engine, it actually flags up and tells the customer. So then that gives them more incentive to book. But again, that trick is to actually get your rate lower than the OTAs, because they're offering dynamic discounts through Genius, and it's not always a flat 10, 15 or whatever 20%. So a bit of advice, just cut them off on an entry-level room type, and you'll always win the business.
Thank you very much indeed, Teresa. Okay, so what we're going to do now is please hang around, and our experts are going to come to the different tables. Any of you outside who might have a question, might want to contribute to this discussion, please come in. And in about 15, 20 minutes' time, we're going to be reconjugating here to hear some of the perspectives and discussions and input that we've had from this social business space. So we'll be back with you, well, I'll be back with you here in a moment.
Travel Market Life.
Travel Market Life is backed by Haynes Marcoms, a B2B marketing communications PR consultancy specialising in the technologies, travel, hospitality and property sectors. Create meaningful connections and visibility to grow. Haynes Marcoms cuts through the noise to resonate with target buyers, decision makers and influencers. From contextualizing your mission to positioning your value proposition, Haynes Marcoms helps you address the issues that matter. Marketing, PR, and social. Build profile, gain momentum, shape strategy with Haynes Marcoms.
Travel Market Life.
Interesting points was data. So everyone wants more direct business, but one of the key things is that if you work the data and the people that have already stayed, you will get them to rebook, whereas the loyalty on an OTA, they just look at different areas or different properties. But you need a good CRM, and I think that probably so many hotels don't have a CRM, probably because of the cost. So I think one big takeaway is hotels should look at the CRM and also look at the programs they've got connected to that are doing the e-commerce and the mailings to get more repeat business, especially driven through the booking engine.
There's been a lot more CRMs coming in the market in recent years, and we've also seen some of the big technology providers provide an aspect or features and functionality of a CRM. What's your advice to hoteliers trying to source technology and the right solutions?
You really need to work with the right suppliers. You need to obviously look at the cost and what the functionality is. We live in a very complicated landscape at the moment, and there is a lot of choice out there. So definitely look at the cost, look at the recommendation, who else are they working with? And again, sorry, I keep saying cost. Look at, how much each booking is costing you through your partner, and I'm talking mainly about your distribution partner. But I think for properties as well, and we were talking about it before, I think also working with a partner that looks at your property, and it's not just like accommodation, it's everything else you've got to sell at the property or out of the property, and gives you more of that retail product now, is one that you should be looking for, because I think that's going to be the future of booking engines.
I mean, it is a journey that everybody's going on at the moment, and especially as we sort of move towards this idea of e-commerce. And what does that mean? Is that hotels, are starting to consolidate their departments across sales, revenue, and marketing, and really trying to get them all to play together. And there's this risk of duplicating systems. So sometimes it is a matter of looking at your overall strategy, look at your people, look at their skills, and how you can best structure that in today's modern way of selling. But we'll head over to David, because I know you are having a very good conversation here with the table on the right-hand side. What were some of the areas that you were covering?
Well, we just had a lot of fun talking about technology. Two startups over here, really interesting, very different. One, very much a discussion of why don't hotels make more of the revenue, of the total revenue of the guests. Super interesting, because when they're on site, how do we interact with them more? How do we let them know we've got services that we don't? Obviously, rooms are a focus for hotels because they're the big ticket item, but how do we increase that value? So very interesting ideas around a startup here called Bellhop. So how to do that, and we had a great discussion. And then we go on to VOI, who are looking at a platform of influencers and how we sort of make that a little bit more orderly. So a lot of hotels get approached by influencers, maybe too many times, looking for freebies. Some get sick of them contacting, asking for free rooms, or some don't really know how to process them and evaluate them. So is there something that we can do to make that easier, that process easier? And they've got a really nice idea around a platform of not only verifying those, matching them up, but also incentivizing the influencer ongoing to get those reservations for the hotel. So the contract's clear, the results are clear, but also they're incentivized to influence bookings as well as influence their own audience. So we had a lot of fun talking about some really cool areas that hotels sort of peripheral, but also important to driving extra revenue.
Thank you very much. Now, that's fascinating because, influencers side, they are driving huge amounts of revenue. There is opportunity, obviously, to build that profile and that brand, connect with a very specific type of audience. The better you know your audience is, the better you understand how those influencers are going to benefit you. Another area that I've certainly seen an expansion on as I've been analysing the market is that we are going, beyond the typical travel providers today. Insurance companies, for example, supermarkets, Lidl, as an example, now providing holidays and bookings and accommodation. So how far wide will that distribution marketing reach be? Now, Susanne, you were going around the room. Also, what were some of the conversations, to summarise, that you were involved in?
Data and more data. But I just want to pick up on that point about distribution. Just recently I saw Peloton at the annual hotel conference, and one of the things that if you partner with a Peloton, you can find a Peloton hotel on their website that is a direct booking. So those brand partnerships and affiliations, I think, are really powerful for hotels, and I think we'll see more and more of that. Just one other point about the TikTok influencers. I think one of the things that I would love to see is actually monetizing these influencers for the hotels. So pay the influencers small amounts of commission, and let's see the technology evolve for that, so that actually, they're coming and asking for freebies, but if you're then monetizing them and it's not just a free stay, let's see what they start to deliver from a direct perspective. I want to see the technology evolve for that.
Thank you very much.
I've forgotten the question you actually asked me.
The question was, Susanne, is what were the conversations you have been involved in during the break?
Yeah, I think Daniel's point about data, it is, and it's an easy one to throw out. Let's talk about data. But the reality is in hotels, it's difficult to get the data out. It's difficult to manipulate it and then analyse it. But couple the data with AI processes, and that is, again, something easy to throw out and harder to do. But if you invest your time there for digital and revenue, then it becomes much more actionable. And it means that when you're looking at technology investment or revenue strategies, you've got something really solid to base those decisions on.
Thank you very much. So over to Ali now. Again, you were walking around the room. What were some of the key areas that some of the people you were talking to were covering?
Yeah, my memory's really bad. No, some of the stuff that we touched on were the concept of psychological pricing. So I'll do that bit, and then we'll leave Teresa to do the stuff that she spoke about, which is quite detailed. So the idea being that when people are on a website and they're making a decision across that customer journey, is that most people want to feel as though they're in control, that they have some level of control over what they can put in the basket or take out, or if they want to upgrade to a room, or if they want to downgrade, and basically have an understanding of exactly how much they want to spend. And so it's really carrying that. When you get people hooked onto that journey, it's carrying that commitment, that psychological commitment that somebody's made, that they want to buy something, and it's actually nudging them over and using the website to really push them into that direction constantly from a psychological perspective. But that sense of agency, if you like, to use a psychological word, is like, that's really important. I need to feel like I'm in control, not like it's all just going out of control and too expensive. So that's where we were.
Thank you very much. Now, I know, Teresa, as well, you're involved in quite a deep conversation, sharing some of your expertise and experience there. What can you summarise from that conversation for us, please?
Yeah, we were talking a lot about personalisation and about not actually offering the guest everything and throwing it all at them, hoping that they'll buy something, about really looking at your rate codes, personalising that experience to the guest to actually create an itinerary or to sell them something that they actually want. Another conversation we had was around flexibility. So we spoke a little bit about websites, and if you're putting yourself as a customer in the customer journey and you want to change something on your website, having that flexibility works great for you, because what you don't want is you don't want to change something and then have to go to your web dev and then have to pay a fortune for them to do that, and then that's a 2-week lead time, and by that point you've probably found something else that you want to change. So again, when you're looking at your tech stack, and your website in particular, have that great about flexibility for that as well.
Lovely. Thank you ever so much to my experts here for joining us, looking at this session on hotel revenue and e-commerce. Before we do conclude, are there any questions or any other additional points from the audience that we've had here today? No, well, thank you ever so much for actually engaging in our social business space and participating in the conversation with our experts. It's been great to see the level of conversation here on the stand. We'll be back here at 1 o'clock with our next session, Recruit, Retain and Reward, looking at hospitality culture and staffing. So I hope I might see you there then for a very similar format. Otherwise, don't forget to check out Travel Market Life on your podcast, or go to LinkedIn and follow us on there, because we share loads of content ongoing from across our partners and the conversations that I'm having in the industry. So thank you ever so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day at the Independent Hotel Show.
For more, go to Travel Market Life. The music sensation by Zach Nelson is reproduced under license from Storyblocks. Travel Market Life is a Haynes Marcoms digital marketing agency production, serving the travel and technology industries.